scheduled for 3 FNC rounds at featherweight, 65.8 keys. Dana Aghaie, fighting blue. RASUMNY, fighting red. Both German fighters. Let the games begin. So already I spoke about the size advantage that RASUMNY brings to this, given that Aghaie is actually quite large frame at the weight. But it's the punching power of Aghaie that's the thing to watch. And RASUMNY will know that. His ground game is excellent. As I said, good solid jiu-jitsu. Went on back. And fighting up. Let's see how this works. So, trying to cause a little bit of extra jeopardy, Aghaie, by switch hitting. And throwing that open stance, just to see if he can unseat RASUMNY early doors. But not a lot of engagement. They're both having a little look-see, see where the danger lies, or indeed the opportunity.
Very predictable, I think, from RASUMNY. He's finding some really good success with the 1-2, lining up a low kick. Aghaie is trying to move and circle, but he's getting cut off a little bit here in the cage, Will.
RASUMNY brings the action, gets the takedown. Look at that. There's the leg lock, though, and maybe that was all the come into my parlour, said the spider to the fly. He's got this cranked on, Chris.
Nice effort there with the lumberjack sweep. That's very smart. Forget about the leg lock. Use it for the sweep. Stand up, posture, disentangle the left leg. Now he's going to drop again. I'm not sure what he's thinking here. He's going to try to reap here and grab that straight ankle lock. Now this is good, but he probably doesn't have the bite on the Achilles.
Let's see what he does with the other leg. He's got that locked in. Look at what he's trying to do here, Chris.
Inside heel hook counter. That's the problem. He could be toast here, Will.
Yeah, this is jeopardy, really is. And we didn't know what RASUMNY would bring to this, but Aghaie, well, throwing in all kinds of spanners in the works here. It's settled down a bit. I think we're out of the danger zone, but they're both very, very good ground players, and you can see that in the work here.
You got to be so careful in these positions, because that's twice he went for a leg lock, and he is in danger of being finished by a leg lock. The reap looks pretty strong on that heel hook, Will. He could definitely close the show. He's changing up his leg knot here. You just want to drag it that little bit tighter so you get some good bite around the heel. You can see that's the battle. He's going to try and drag that leg a little bit deeper so he can actually hook it. Attempt here at maybe going calf slicer or a back take. I don't know what on earth the guy was doing here.
Well, it's all come undone, and RASUMNY keeping just a little lock on to keep him in close. Down goes Aghaie on top, defended by RASUMNY. As I say, RASUMNY is known, to me at any rate, to be able to work very well off his back. He's doing exactly that here, and he's negating anything that Aghaie can bring that's offering any form of danger. So the danger has passed, the storm has gone by, but we're back into new Tempest territory.
It was a possible capture of the empty half, but again, this is just a huge mistake. Aghaie initiated the ground game, and he is having to deal with trap after trap after trap. Attempt there, obviously, at the triangle setup, but the open guard, the clasp, you can see the breaking of the posture on one hand from RASUMNY, and the operation of the legs. It's all working to cause issues.
Well, he's obviously uncomfortable, Aghaie, trying to get on top, trying to use the hands. He knows where the power lies. He's created space now, but tries to come in over the top to see if he can land some punches. Straight back in into an open guard. And as I say, RASUMNY kind of like his office. He knows what he's doing. Up go the legs. They always offer a bit of danger. But now Aghaie starting to put pressure on. Tries to pass, but still throwing from the top there.
He's trying to strip those legs. Aghaie was just trying to punch his way through the posturing. But again, the issue from RASUMNY is, the leg exposure is there more often than not, and he's going for it. But Aghaie is just twisting his leg and dragging it out, which, it can work a few times, but you can almost do injuries to yourself there, Will.
Well, that's the danger. Under 30 seconds left in this first round, and considering they started off very tentatively, this has just been full, fat action all the way. It really has. High fidelity. with an emphasis on high. So he's got an arm through now. Can he get an arm bar? Are we in submission territory, or is it not enough to get the leverage and the crank there? Look at that. Aghaie escapes, starts to bring down the shots, really putting pressure on, elbows crunching in, really looking to finish this. Wow, at the end of the round, that was a helter-skelter.
Big time. And I just wonder how awkward Aghaie can make it to try to crush the guard and strip the leg entanglements and so on and avoid the problems. It worked 5 or 6 times. It wasn't pretty. Maybe he thinks he can bulldoze through there and do some damage, which can work in MMA, but way too many problems there on the ground for me, Will.
Yeah, I mean, he offered up the bait every time, and it was taken, eaten, and, you know, digested. I mean, it was just too much. But he's escaped. Oh, that was a cracker of a right hand there. So RASUMNY, I said he was the unknown quantity here. And look at just what he's brought to the action. And you're right, that's a kick, almost semi-sweep, that brought Aghaie down, left him open to try and attempt a leg lock, and then it was leg lock city all the way.
Yeah, good connections here, though, from Aghaie. You know, he loves those big moves. And like I said on the walkout, sometimes too many big moves, which can expose you and leave you to the invisible jiu-jitsu that unfolds, for example, at the legs and indeed hands of Andreas RASUMNY.
Well, Aghaie, 22 years of age, RASUMNY, 24. This is top-level playing from such young fighters, just turned pro. We go to the second round. Fighting red, Andreas RASUMNY. Fighting blue, Dana Aghaie. Both representing Germany here at the Fight Nation Championships. And the very name, Fight Nation Championship, means that the card is made up of a huge amount of different national entries. The UK, Serbia, Slovenia, Argentina, Germany, Tajikistan. The list goes on. On the wire, boom! Takedown there from Aghaie, but he's got himself locked in a guillotine. And I have to say, very good for Andreas RASUMNY to hang on. Has he got cranked there, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he definitely has enough bite to make Aghaie a little bit concerned about passing to the opposite side of the choking arm. You can see the shoulder of justice in play. There we go, very smart. Nice defense there from Aghaie to get that pass. Now he really has to work. Do not allow a RASUMNY moment of respite, a moment to rest. The key is the pressure here on that pass. He's nearly through the legs. He'd do very well to continue passing here. Forget about the ground and pound.
Well, maybe just a little bit of softening up before he makes that pass, but he's definitely in a good position now. But RASUMNY still manages to keep a leg available to stop any attempt.
Yeah, and the issue is you can sit in half and do a lot of damage in ground and pound. It can be a very good position, but I think given the difference in body types as you're seeing here, RASUMNY has the ability to get underneath his base and cause issues.
But just look at the way Aghaie just pulls up his sleeve and gets stuck in, doesn't he? He just gets in between the legs, puts his arms in, his legs in, everything. He just doesn't caution to the wind. And he's in on top now. Look at that. He just squashes the legs down and starts bringing in the big shots. And you can hear the crowd ringside giving it up.
It's kind of like if you're a plumber and you walk into a house and every pipe is leaking and you just say, well, I'm going to go and try to fix them all at once. He's just that keen on it. And I feel he could get caught if he's not careful. But it's impressive. Whether RASUMNY is getting tired, I'm not sure. Yeah,
well, they're having fun. It's a jiu-jitsu buffet, isn't it? He's straight up, plate ready, and scooping up stuff as he goes. Right, in come the knees. I mean, he's got very good answers, Dana Aghaie, for a lot of these positions, but RASUMNY off his back is doing a lot to spoil. And if you think of the effort and some of the technical ability that Aghaie has brought to this, I think he probably could have done a lot more damage if RASUMNY wasn't as accomplished as he displays to be.
Yeah, and this is a very good case study for the different body types for grappling in MMA and why some things work, some things don't, some things get stifled. Aghaie is doing a good job here, though.
Well, it's just time for me to quickly mention, if you're watching FNC 27 live on air on YouTube, it is free to air to watch these preliminary bouts, but if you want to play, you've got to pay. So go to FNCTV.com, sign up and watch the rest of the evening's entertainment. It really is spectacular. As I say, we've got 2 championship fights. We've got a Fight of Nations reality show coaches revenge matchup. I mean, some big names here. Ollie Thompson from the UK, Darko Stosic from Serbia. We've got Miran Fabian, Slow Rocky from Slovenia, Alexander Ilic, the Joker. Well, that should be enough. But not only that, we've got Lom Ali Eskiev, Francisco Barrio, main card, Hatif Moil, Ivan Vitasevic, 2 championship bouts, and that Fight of Nations reality show coaches fight. That's going to be full of grit, full of action. Full international card here, so sign up, pay up, and pay-per-view.
Very good work here from Aghaie to continue to smash the guard. Some punches are getting through, not all that cleanly. RASUMNY's defensive work is there. This is the best opportunity. He's now smashed the legs, he's to the side. This is where he's got to do damage and really steal this round. He lost the first, he can win the second.
It has been a tough night for RASUMNY, but it's not been all cakewalk for Aghaie. RASUMNY was an unknown last-minute replacement, 10-day last-minute replacement. That's not a lot of time to adapt or change your style. It looks to me as if Aghaie has done very well to do that. I mean, you know, it's been Aghaie's way the whole way. And look at this, he looks like he might be able to finish. 20 seconds on the clock here. If he can land one good shot or the referee thinks it's enough, well, he might just pull this off in the second round again on our second fight in this evening's card.
And right now is where the conditioning takes over, Will. You could just see how much more energy there was. Both guys tired. He gets in those positions, is able to score. So I'm impressed.
Little showboat in at the end from Aghaie. Stands with his hands on their hip as if to say, well, pleased to meet you. And I don't know if RASUMNY is that pleased, to be honest with you. But Aghaie, quite clearly happy with his work, feels as if he's in control. That said, RASUMNY not out of the game yet, but certainly, well, without a doubt, Aghaie by a country mile.
Yeah, definitely. Very impressive there in the second round. Let's take a look at some of the action. There was a guillotine attempt and a beautiful counter taking down to the opposite side and clearing those legs ultimately by Aghaie. Here's Aghaie in side control, just making it messy. Good solid knees. The hip bump there. And here the posturing. The best moment I think of that round was once he'd smashed that guard and the elbows came down. The good old 12-6. Plenty of action. I think it's a tie ball game, Will.
Wow, you think it's that tight going into the third? I had Aghaie in the first, but, well, the guru has spoken. One apiece, which means this is where the fun starts. It's everything to play for in this third and final round. First time we've gone the distance here at FNC, given we've only had 2 fights, but this is the second of the preliminaries. If you want to watch the rest of the card, the excitement continues, but to play, you've got to pay. So sign up to fnctv.com and, whoa, rolling thunder from Aghaie. He's looking to bring some flash to this. Bit of a showman. We love that in a young player, but he might have made a mistake here that RASUMNY might advantage himself from. We saw that guillotine attempt earlier on. Could be in position for another one.
Lovely wrestling there from Aghaie. Beautiful. RASUMNY didn't have any underhooks, and it was a lovely counter. This is where the conditioning, and again, just those hard rounds in a very good gym. From MMA Spirit, like we said, he's going to have those training partners that bring the best out in him under adversity.
So, still being held in half. He's never quite managed to pass, has he, Aghaie? But that doesn't stop him. He's still got enough range and reach to do damage. RASUMNY getting a little bit fancy with the legs on the right leg of Aghaie. Nothing's caused him problems. He's had grips on that leg several times during this bout, but he passes successfully from my lips to his ears. Look at this, in this top control position now. I think we know what's coming next. I think he's going to try and finish this as quickly as possible. I thought it was going to be ground and pound, but it looks like he might have gone in for a little choke.
Tough to say. He definitely tried to consolidate the position by getting underhooks, really tightening his arms, sliding his hips lower. Again, you've got to worry about the body type. And yeah, maybe a possible arm triangle setup. It depends on what happens here. If he punches and RASUMNY gives him a gift, that's when you want to look out for a submission attempt.
Great position to be in at this time in the bout, the beginning of the third round. Well, all the gas from doing 70 mile an hour has been spent. They're on quarter tank, and this is now where the rubber hits the road. Sorry for all the motoring analogies, but it gets tough here. And look at this, he's got an arm triangle in there. Can he try and finish it? No. Well, yes, he's trying to put some pressure on. I don't think that's enough to stop RASUMNY at this stage. He might go back to ground and pound, but he's got Crank there. And RASUMNY saying everything's okay. Referee, Mr. Ilita Lucic, looking very, very closely. Is there movement? Yeah, no, he's not got no Crank there. That's not going to do the job. But crowd getting restless.
It was a nice setup. He was actually trying to see if RASUMNY would try and scramble. There was a little bit of breathing room, like you said, not quite on, but that's the gambit. He didn't want to give up mount and fully commit to that choke, and you don't need to finish that choke.
So back to half. I was going to say still in half, but he did manage to pass. Had to give that position up. Only get his arms clear, but this is what RASUMNY has done so well. He's like the Velcro kid, isn't he? He's just kept one thing back. Look, uses the knee to break grips. This is good stuff from RASUMNY off his back. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough to win this round unless he pulls a rabbit out of the hat. But relentless. Aghaie, elbows, strikes, as you said, Chris, the 12-6, putting in the hands and just going through the gears here, connecting all the dots, and not really that fussed about passing, although I think he's got the other leg over. Yep, eventually does it. No, still being out.
This is the conundrum. This is where certain things become challenging. And I'm sure he'd like to advance to mount. He had some nice success, but just keep doing damage. More of the same wins him this fight for sure. And do not allow this. Very smart. Try to get the sprinter's escape going. I'd almost just turn around at this point and get that left leg out. You can see him thinking about it. You almost got to kind of backspin here and just stand up and drag it free. Or do this, helicopter pass. Lovely. And that can hurt, but it can work. And that's what's worked out here.
Beautifully smooth transition there. Worked his way out of it. That threat been mitigated. Now he's semi on top, but he works well from there. Not fussed about passing, just working attritionally, as you said, Chris, keeping the strikes going. They're all counting. Great job from RASUMNY for closing down. I mean, he's not allowed Aghaie to get off here. Really, he keeps blocking the runway. But this could be the beginning of the end. I've said that several times so far. And Aghaie taking stock. Oh, elbow strike straight through the middle, finds its target. Again, the elbow strikes, attritional here. And RASUMNY, very focused, eyes open, blocks everything. And Aghaie just can't find a clean shot here.
This is just the conditioning. This is all the bag work on the ground, all the hard cage work. That's what's won him this fight. It's been a tremendous, persistent performance, a blue-collar performance here, and I think he's racing towards a unanimous decision.
Yeah, RASUMNY staved off the threat, but in the end, the relentlessness, the attritional work from Dana Aghaie means that I think, without a doubt, he takes the W here. So, that was controlled rage right from the get-go, with technical and what I would say mature IQ as well.
And it didn't seem that smart of a fight IQ from the beginning, but by the second, by the third round, he achieved these positions. It was rinse and repeat. It was takedown, it was pass guard, it was do damage, it was even attempts like this at the arm triangle. RASUMNY did have a little bit of breathing room, but for me, this was the key feature, getting mount twice there in the third round, getting to a high mount and indeed working a low mount. Here's the control of the head. He was just hoping maybe RASUMNY would give him another gift to try to go after the arm triangle, because the second arm comes up and you can snatch it up.
To judges' scorecards, but we think we know the decision. Let's wait and hear what the official verdict is. To use an age-old expression, there can be only one. So the official announcement. I say that, it's interesting because I don't think the judges have delivered it yet, but let's wait and see. Maybe they're deliberating. Oh no, referees brought them in. Here we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of those 3 completed rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards, where we have a unanimous decision. Judge Zoric scoring this contest 30 points to 25. Judge Sintage scoring this contest 30 points to 27. And Judge Werner scoring this contest 30 points to 26. All in favor of your winner, In the blue corner, Dana Aghaie.